You're listening to John Regan with a song for everyone. And in the studio, I've got a guy called Ed Jackson, originally from Taree, but now resident in Sydney. He and the band are rapidly making a name for themselves on the local circuit and nationally, particularly with his latest release, Let You Go. Good day, Ed. How are you?
G'day, John. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, mate. What about we begin with you giving us a little bit about who Ed Jackson is?
So Ed Jackson's a collaboration between producer Alexi Piggott and bass player JP Vernon and other invited musicians that we bring in, and our goal really is to write heartfelt, honest indie folk music for a local and international audience.
Well, we'll continue with you selecting a track from your catalogue and telling us about that particular track.
Yeah, Windswept was written in summer on the deck of a beach house, and Windswept really is a song about youth and a song that reminds me of some of my most happiest times in life, which are spending the day at the beach and then catching up with friends in the evening, maybe having a house party at the beach. And this particular song, Windswept, is about a couple that meet on the front porch away from the revelry that's happening in the backyard, and they form a connection and start to touch on more philosophical parts of life as they form a friendship.
I wonder why it is that it's always the early things that are the happiest things. Why is that, do you think?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think when in your youth, when everything is new and fresh, I think you form those memories from an early age. And I think as you get older and move on in life, it's wonderful to reflect back on those and then, see that in your family and in your kids, in family members. You can watch them go through that. And I don't necessarily think they're the happiest times, but they're certainly the first time you experience many things when you come of age. In life, there's certainly some heightened experiences that you've had for the first time, so perhaps that's why.
I think you're right, actually. So let's have a listen to Windswept from Ed Jackson.
Windswept, brunette, kicks back on the front step, cocktails all around, drink up, it's sundown. Jimmy brings a party to the people at the back. Spotify is turning out another killer track. Someone with a lighter lit a fire in a drum. Everyone is glowing on a ginger dry and rum. Where does the sea stop? Where does the land start? I'm looking up and out, wondering what it's all about. Why does the moon shine? Make the tide rise. I'm looking up and out, but all I see is your eyes. Windswept, brunette, barefoot in a singlet, night glow, tan skin, small talk is a quick win. Game of Luna Fortune and the kids are getting lit. Beers around the barbecue and boys are talking shit. Two with the Diablo spinning on a string. Ukulele lady plays a song by Benny King. Play and spin the bottle, everybody's gonna lose. Party's getting started but we just ran out of booze. Things are kinda out of hand, neighbors are you cool? Night is getting hotter, better jump into the pool. Where does the sea stop? Where does the land start? I'm looking up and out, wondering what it's all about. Why does the moon shine? Make the tide rise. I'm looking up and out, but all I see is your eyes. Windswept, brunette, only just met. Where does the sea stop? Where does the land start? I'm looking up and out, wondering what it's all about. Why does the moon shine? Make the tide rise. I'm looking up and out, but all I see is your eyes.
That was Ed Jackson with a track entitled Windswept. Ed, how would you best describe your sound, and musically, who do you think your influences are?
I think we probably fit in with a sort of indie folk, pop type sound, and particularly in the acoustic sort of range, and very much inspired for me personally by storytelling singer-songwriters. So I connect a lot with the storytelling of Paul Kelly, and years before that, I guess Bob Dylan, in the way he articulates a story, probably a little bit more politically than where we go, which is from a more personal point of view. And also locally, Bernard Fanning is someone that I've always admired through his time with Powderfinger, but particularly lately with his solo albums. I think he's a great storyteller, great singer-songwriter, and from a musical point of view, brings in a lot of different instrumentation, which so we cue off, I guess, that range of artists.
I'm going to play a couple. We're going to play a couple of tracks a bit later on that to me seem quite personal. How much of Ed Jackson is on show in your lyrics when you get up and sing?
I think that's our number one rule for writing a song, and particularly choosing what one will take to the studio, is that if you can't articulate the story in one sentence or one line, then we won't do it. So this song comes from the songs come from a very personal place. They tell deep personal stories, and we do it with brutal honesty. And I think that's what we hope will set us apart, is that we are really putting our hearts on the line and telling stories and expressing feelings and emotions that we hope will have a common connection or a resonance. So yes, a lot of our personal experiences on the line with our songwriting. It's very important to us.
And with songwriting, what's your approach to that? Do the words come, or then the melody, or melody? How do you get your ideas? Yeah,
it's varied. Early on, when I started songwriting, I would always start with music and find the rhythm and find the melody through the guitar, and then the lyrics a line would drop, and then the rest of the story would unfold. But more recently, the lyrics have been forming without any guitar in hand, and that's been an interesting process. So the last couple of tracks that we've worked on, there's been no musical arrangement at all until we go into the studio. So I'll go in with effectively a poem and a verse, a couple of ideas musically, but very light on, and it is a set of words effectively, and then through working with the musicians and producer in the studio, the song will form out of that. So it's a little bit free flowing, and I really like that approach, is going in with the story and lyrics, and then through the process of the studio coming out the other end with a song. It's quite exciting.
Well, let's perhaps have a listen to another song from Ed Jackson.
Great. Well, what I'd like to play now for you, John, is Let You Go. So it's a new track. It's my latest release, and I guess it's a little bit Americana, and with this song we are deliberately moving into a more country type sound. I'm from the coast, from the country. My producer Alexi's from Coffs Harbour, and I think we're country boys in a city world, and I think we're sort of fusing city stories with a country sound. So this is the start of a journey, I think, into a more country sound. So hope you like it.
Well, let's have a listen to Let You Go from Ed Jackson.
For nice and slow. If you wanna walk with me, we'll take it nice and slow. 'Cause I won't let you, I won't let you, I won't let you go. If you wanna walk with me, we'll take it nice and slow. In time, green shoots will grow. Sunlight and rain, wings spread, fanned by the home that will remain. Your face speaks to me with no words to say. I reply the only way I know how, and ask you to stay. If you're gonna stay with me, I'll tell you all I know. If you're gonna stay with me, I'll tell you all I know. 'Cause I won't let you, I won't let you, I won't let you go. If you're gonna stay with me, I'll tell you all I know. With grace, our life takes shape. Smile lines appear. Darkness never takes hold when you are near. You rise and lead the way when I'm on my knees. We need a change of scene, so come on, ride with me. If you wanna ride with me and climb aboard, let's go. If you wanna ride with me and climb aboard, let's go. 'Cause I won't let you, I won't let you, I won't let you go. If you wanna ride with me and climb aboard, let's go. If you wanna ride with me, climb aboard, let's go.
It was a track called Let You Go from local singer-songwriter Ed Jackson. Ed, tell us a little about your involvement with Rough Edges.
So Rough Edges is a charity based in Darlinghurst in Sydney's east, and they provide food, shelter for homeless people, and also support. And a year ago or so, we participated in the Sleep Out to help raise money so they could continue doing what they do. And that was an eye-opening experience, sleeping on the streets of Darlinghurst, and not sleeping is probably more appropriate, and witnessing and experiencing what it is like to spend every night cold and hungry and alone on the street. So it not only was we were able to raise money for that particular charity, but also have an insight into how the less fortunate in life live. So Rough Edges is a charity that we work with in an ongoing way. We did a concert for them recently for a dinner, an outdoor dinner they had for their patrons and guests, and it's just a great community, a bunch of people to be part of, and it's nice to be able to give back and support those less fortunate.
I mean, these charities do great work, but it's a pity we need them. we better not go down that line, because there seems to be little social support for people like that coming from other bodies that you'd think might well indeed support them.
And I think where there is an absence of formal support, it's wonderful to see people standing up and stepping in and filling that void and doing that necessary work. So it's quite inspiring.
It is indeed. It's great to see yourself doing something like that. To get back to your musical career to date, give us your most embarrassing moment, and also the most euphoric musical moment to date.
Embarrassing, I think that's probably yet to come, John. I think it's probably just around the corner, and it'll creep up and surprise me. So when it happens, I'll drop you a note.
Please do.
I've been spared that for the moment, but euphorically, it was probably the first live performance I did. So I set myself a goal around a particular birthday to get up on stage at an open mic night in Glebe and perform 4 original songs, and no one listened. I was stuck under the staircase, and but for me personally, that was very euphoric, is singing my music, my own personal songs that I'd spent a lot of time crafting and writing to in a public space. So, I probably reflect on that as a very euphoric moment, and one that sort of inspired me to keep on going.
I'm sure some people were listening to it, Ted.
I hope so.
I'm sure they would be, mate. Look, where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
Well, certainly I'd like to have a couple of albums out. My goal is really to write and publish 4 or 5 songs a year. So within 5 years' time, have a body of work of 40 songs or so, and distill those down into the best, I guess, 20 or 15, and put those out as a considered, intelligent body of work that might find a broader audience. So I'm certainly focused on that, and would give myself 5 years to do that. So we'll see how we go.
And in light of what you've said, not just for the last question, but the question before about embarrassing moments and things, what advice would you give to other budding musos? What have you learnt from your experiences?
That you alone you will never have the best ideas, that collaboration is absolutely key. I've also learnt that don't be afraid to reach out to those with much more experience. I've been very lucky that I've had some experienced professional musicians work on my music, just with I don't know them, but I'll reach out to them because I've heard of them, and they are willing to perhaps reduce their fees and support young musos. So don't be afraid to reach out to those more experienced than us and industry professionals to help, and also just never give up. Just keep on writing, and don't stop. And over time, you'll find your voice. And I'm still working towards mine, and that would be my advice.
And good advice it is as well, Ed. Thank you very much for that. Tell us what's coming up for Ed Jackson in the way of gigs, future events, releases.
Certainly looking to put out 2 more songs before the end of the year. So we have a little sneak peek, I think, coming up of a track that we're due to release in November, and then also a more upbeat sound, another track called Way It Is in December. So 2 songs before the end of the year, that's our goal. We're well underway with recording those. So and then next year starting to do some music through summer.
No gigs at the moment?
I've been playing fairly regularly at Sydney, mainly through the open mic circuit, Dulwich Hill Hotel on a Wednesday, and then there's a couple of nice gigs in Bondi through open mic, but nothing bigger. I think when we get an album, then we'll look to really get the band together and get band ready and do some live performances. So we'll certainly let you know.
Any timetable on the album?
I think late 2020 would be a terrific goal. Mm-hmm. But as I said, I think we need to have built up a substantial body of work to be able to distill and get the best stuff out. So yeah, let's hope for this time next year perhaps. And
where can we get information on Ed Jackson?
I am pretty active on Facebook, so facebook.com/Ed Jackson Music, or also Instagram. My stuff's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. So if you like what you hear today, I'd love you to connect with me. Drop me a note, and I'll be sure to write back.
Thanks very much for that, Ed. Look, why don't we finish the interview with a final track? And again, tell us why you've picked that particular track.
So this is an unreleased track. It's called So Much More, and it's, I guess, reflective of our journey into a more country music sound. The song is really about a father yearning to spend more time with his kids, but it's uplifting as well. So we're really what you'll hear in a minute is just a few hours of studio time. It's guitar and vocals, but in a few weeks we will be laying down some lap steel, some cello, some double bass, and really bringing out a country infused sound, even more so than the last track you heard, Let You Go. So that's the song, Let You Go. So Much More. I hope you like it.
I'm sure they will, because I think this is a brilliant track without all the cellos and lap steel guitars and all the rest of it. So let's have a listen to So Much More from Ed Jackson. Ed, thanks very much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. I believe we did meet in a former life, although I must admit I forgot, if you'll ever forgive me. So let's go with So Much More.
Played the game and I've run my race, held my ground, but I know my place. I've been down, but I'm up when I'm with you. I've stayed out late and I've lost my way, propped up bars with naught to say, but I'm calm when I'm home with you. Of mine are holding the line, but I know you've moved house a dozen times. Happy photos on the fridge don't lie. I'm getting a place that's warm and safe, home for us all till you graduate. No more lying awake in your sleep. You are more than a part-time hustle in a city where the pretty women homeless shuffle. You are more than a part-time hustle, time to roll my sleeves up and flex some muscle. You are more than the money I'm earning, and I have told you that I am yearning for more, so much more than right now. So much more than we have right now. I'll be there to light the way through the autumn rain and the winter gray. And if trouble comes along, we'll work it out. If you carry yourself with poise and grace and start each day with a smiling face, then I'll know I've taught you well. Etched a plan on the back of my hand, escape to the country on a block of land, and I hope you might join me there. Invite your friends to sit by the fire, bit of Bon Iver on the guitar, and I hope you might join me there. You want more than a part-time hustle in a city where the pretty women homeless shuffle. You want more than a part-time hustle, time to roll my sleeves up and flex some muscle. You want more than the money I'm earning, and I have told you that I am yearning for more, so much more than right now. So much more than we have right now. So much more than we have right now.
Terrific track there from Ed Jackson, which will be their next release, I believe. Is that right, Ed?
That's right, coming out in November with a bit of luck.
It's called So Much More. Ed, thanks for your time. Really enjoyed it. Been great to see you again.
Thanks very much, John. Cheers.